Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Gotzo with Race First, filling in for Chris at NRN, who's on assignment this week. And welcome to the NRN's, or the National Racing Network, and Race First co-coverage of Round 5 of the fall 2022 season of the ESRA INDYCAR Series, coming to you from the capital of speed in the South, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth for tonight's race, he's a longtime member of the iRacing IndyCar community. He's so influential, his peers have named an entire strength of field split after him. He runs for Team Talent in the IR18, Synergy Racing in the DW12, and Team Chimera in the IR05. And he is the genesis of Race Versus' decision to go broadcast the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split. A budding broadcaster in his own right, please welcome Andrew Wood. Andrew, you're no secret, you're no stranger here to Charlotte. Tell us all about this place. It is narrow and bumpy.
Well, first of all, let me just say that intro was not what I was expecting at all, so that was pretty cool. Thanks for shouting me out and pointing out all the different stuff that I've done. And yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I'm getting into commentating now, which is great. But yeah, we're here at Charlotte tonight. Very narrow and very difficult track to navigate, especially how tight the both sides of the track are, and being able to try and gain runs and get yourself in a situation where you can get by some guys and lead a pack as well.
Got about a minute 11 here, minute 10 left in qualifying. We'll get the speed time conversion going here to give you an idea of what type of lap speeds these guys are turning here. There it is. Currently, Aldrich on the pole provisionally with about 55 seconds left with a 2:16.293. Here are the real-life IndyCar records that you need to know about at Charlotte. IndyCar, then the Indy Racing League, came to Charlotte twice in 97 and 98. Track record was set in 98 by Tony Stewart when he drove for Team Menard with a speed of 220.498 miles per hour. So we're about 4 miles per hour off that. But we are still nearly 25 years after the fact, and this continues to be the existing track record to this day. The career IndyCar wins leader here in Charlotte are held by a pair of Indy 500 champs. Buddy Lazier won the inaugural Visionary 500 here in 97 for his second ever career IndyCar win. Kenny Brack won here in 98. It was his first ever IndyCar win. The win here was the catalyst to him winning the IRL championship that season. Beginning at Charlotte, Kenny won 3 straight races en route to the 98 IRL championship. So stand by in the garage area. It's almost time to go racing. We got about ready. Yep. And there we go. We've hit quadruple zeros here, and we will have tonight's starting lineup here coming up just momentarily. You can go right ahead.
Yeah, we got 16 cars on the grid tonight. We got Victor Aldrich on pole with 24.200. Nick DeGroot will be starting outside, 24.219. Second row, we got Alexander Ball and Joshua Tucker. Third row will be James Watson and Matt Wagner on the outside. Row 4 will have Christopher Hill and Gary Corley starting to his outside. Row 5, Ty Richter, Jeff Destino. Row 6, Christian Jasper alongside Brandon Ishkanian.
All right.
Row 7, Dylan Thomas, Joseph Morales, and rounding up the back row, we got Jason Hand and Cullen Johnston.
You're becoming a pro at this, man. You got this.
Working at it little by little.
Well, while they finish here gritting up, if you enjoy NRN's coverage of the ESRA IndyCar Series and you respect the weekly stream, please do them a solid. Make sure you support them by subscribing to their channel. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future NRN broadcasts. Now let's get into it here in Charlotte, where we are just momentarily watching these cars getting ready to lead off here from the quad oval area.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting in the traditional NASCAR formation here, starting side by side. It's always a cool little implementation that you could see here. It's almost a little artistic to see what exactly they're doing and how they're starting. It's actually difficult in the car, in the sim yourself, to see when you're supposed to go. So I hope everyone's paying attention.
Well, when that pace car starts taking off, somebody's spotter is going to tell him something.
Yeah, and then you have to remember if you're on the inside or the outside. So
right.
there's a whole entire process to the pace lap here, so we'll see how it goes and make sure everyone gets sorted themselves out.
There we go. So it looks like we got a field of 16 that are going to be taking the green tonight. That's not too far from the number from the inaugural IndyCar race here back in '97. I think they started with 19 that season. So not too far off. Probably a perfect number. Any more than that, that might be a little bit more of a crowded race course. We might see a lot of green flag racing. 100 laps tonight.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of these guys in the mid-pack trying to make their way forward if they can. Again, it's very narrow around this track, so it's going to have to be all about timing and making sure you get the runs at the exact spot that you want to get them in. So the guys at the front may want to run a little more conservative, but the guys in the mid-pack are going to try everything they can to find the holes they can to get towards the front. So I'm very excited to see this start and see how they go.
Yeah, this when we say narrow, we'll say narrow a lot. It might not look narrow on the feed, but when you get behind the wheel, it is extremely narrow.
Yeah, so we're about to go green here. Pace car's pulling in.
It's being very, very patient. Green flag in the air. Victor Aldrich getting the run there and starting us off and turning into one. Negroot's going to stay high. He can do that with these new tires at this time and being. Right now, before these get a little old, the low line, though, is the way to go.
It looks like
Wagner
he's just trying to find a spot to get himself in there, and it looks like he found himself a nice spot there in third place.
Wagner storms to the front here. Wagner, Aldrich, DeGroot, Ball, Watson, lap one.
It looks like the guys are trying to find a nice single file line, trying to see what they want to run, what lines they're going to be comfortable in. So they're going to run kind of high, kind of low, feel each other out, and see exactly what strategy they want to deploy for this first stint here. Oh, we got a wreck in the midfield.
And that looks like Christopher Hill is one of them involved, and
yeah, Ty Richter.
And the other one, unfortunately.
Involved. Yeah, I was just mentioning before about how people were trying to find their way and find their spot in the field, but it looks like Christopher Hill managed to get some sort of dirty air there that Ty Richter was not prepared for. So I guess you're going to pull up a bit of a replay there and see exactly how
we're pulling up a replay, and we know Chris Hill from our FIS coverage. He is a bit of a road course master, and he's been learning the ovals here in the IndyCar a little bit better. But yeah, that might be a thing of experience here. We'll see. We'll ride along here with Christopher Hill as we pick up the replay of them coming through 3 and 4. And yeah, just kisses the wall. Ty gets into the back of him. And a third car got collected. Dylan Thomas might have been, at the end there. Kind of innocently kind of ran into that one. But we will see if Ty Richter might be okay. He is pitting now to probably get some damage looked at.
Yeah, I would imagine with the spinning car there and the rate that he clipped him, that front wing definitely needs to be replaced, or else he's going to drop like a stone. I won't go back green again.
So Dylan Thomas, he is on the racetrack. Looked like whatever damage happened to him, he has done the old elastic snap in the place that the sim likes to do. He seems to be okay. He's back underway. Christopher Hill is in the pits. Looks like he stopped once to get damage done, stopping again now to probably get some additional optionals taken care of, as well as probably topping off the tank and another set of Firestones. He is down and away. So our first caution of the day, it looked like we had 3 victims, but everyone is still running, thankfully. So we still have 16 cars in this thing. Now 15 cars. I don't think somebody took the green flag. I think that might have been Colin. He does. He might do race control. So still 15 cars in this thing, and that's a good thing. We have not lost anything. It would have been a bummer to lose 20% of the field at lap 4.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you would expect at all, especially at a track where it's very important to try and find your track position. So my take on the first few laps here of green, the drivers were definitely in a situation where they had to figure out what the dirty air was for their particular situation. So you had guys in the front that were definitely in a better situation, trying to see where they were going to go. Okay, that was a bit bizarre, just seeing Nick do a little
yeah,
party trick for us.
A couple of guys are using the. There's Jason Han hitting pit road, going to get topped off here. This should and go back to that area. I'm surprised that the sim does not give any incident points for that. But yeah, I saw what you're talking about there, and it does get a little congested in through there. So someone might have been. Sometimes you have to dive in there to evasive action, but I don't think that was necessary there. But the Nick putting on a show for the people on the front stretch. We are probably
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
just trying to do their best to pass the time as we sit here under caution.
Looking at well, definitely certainly a one stopper for sure. When we're here in Indy Fixed, typically it's 50 laps to a tank here. This is a 100 lap race. It shouldn't really require any fuel saving for that matter. Certainly with this caution, I think it rules out any fuel saving whatsoever. This will get them beyond the 50 mark, and then when they make their pit stops beyond the 50, if we go green from there, they will be going green. If we go green from that point, also they'll be going green to the finish, and they should have a few laps left in the tank if they fulfill it when we get to whenever the pit stops are. So again, looking at a 50 lap stint, but now we're under caution to probably be pitting around lap 60 or so if we do not go caution again.
Yeah, that's right, Gary. I was get to that point there before Nick's little party trick there. But yeah, I was noticing that that drivers were really trying to work hard to see where they stacked in the field. So now they have about 5 or 6 lap run there to figure out where exactly they stood. They have an idea now of what situation that they need to put themselves in to move forward and move back. Maybe some guys want to save some fuel to make that one stop just as slow as possible, or as quick as possible down pit road to get the best advantage. So you're going to be watching the cars ahead of you to see if they're staying with the lead pack or if they need to actually kind of hold back a little bit and see how they got to get some spots down pit lane for their one stop there.
Making pit stops on this under this caution. Ty Richter, of course, with the damage. Dylan Thomas, of course, with the damage. Chris Hill with the damage. Jason Han and Joseph Morales, probably not any damage. Just took the opportunity to come down, fill up the tank a little bit more, make this first run last a little bit longer, and probably get a new set of freshies on there to reset everything. Getting ready to go green. Everybody in that high position, coming off of corner number 4 to protect the right side of the race car, so no one passes them up there before going green or crossing the start-finish line. Here we go. Pace car off the track. Matt Wagner in control of the field. And DeGroot tried to get a little bit of a run on him. Wagner did nothing. As soon as DeGroot decelerated, Wagner takes off, and he's got himself a big lead going into turn 1.
Yeah, we've got a nice clean run, clean restart from everyone down the grid. Everyone's trying to see what kind of positions they could pick up before getting to turn 3. Right now, it looks like the mid-pack has kind of stabilized a little bit. You got Christian Jasper here in 8th place that seems to have lost the front guys, so not such a great restart for him.
And DeGroot's reeled in Wagner. It's going to take a look to the outside going into 3. New tires here, though. The low line is the fastest line until these tires start to get old. And when they get aged, you'll see everyone start moving up on this 24-degree banking. And that high line then will all of a sudden come in where the low line just isn't the fast line anymore.
Yeah, you got to try and play around with your runs to make sure you get by someone in the next corner. So Nick might just be trying to feel out what line needs to run to get the best advantage possible. But my guess is that how Charlotte runs and how tight it runs, that Matt Wagner will be running the low line all the way around the track and trying his best to hold off. So Gary, I have shades of the Michigan Area 51 race that both Matt and Nick were in a couple of days ago, and it looks like Nick is trying the same tricks that he did just 2 days ago, trying to enter high, trying to find the draft in the middle of the corner and get some sort of run on the outside of the next corner. But it doesn't look like it's paying off for him very much.
Well, he's also taking better care of his tires by staying on the high side. Oh, he's going to stick the nose in low this time, making me look bad, but he goes ahead and sends it in there low. Wagner wasn't expecting it, and the Groot to the lead.
Yeah, I don't think Matt was expecting Nick to really be trying for it. He was kind of playing around with him a little bit there. All of a sudden, he just did the slide move. Oh, we got a wreck in turn one. Christopher Hill's involved.
And Christopher Hill. We got Brandon Ishkani, excuse me. He's in there as well. Dylan Thomas once more. That guy probably feels like he has a target on him. Christopher Hill in it as well. That's definitely going to be a tow for Chris Hill. But let's go back in the Wayback Machine, rewind a little bit, and see what happened. 3-car wreck coming through the quad oval area into turn one.
Yeah, I have to say that's a very bizarre type incident there. There's some internet issues for sure that plagued a bit there, but yeah, it really did look like Ishkanian just was taking a normal line, and Christian Jasper just kind of came over a bit too much and stole a little bit of carbon fiber there off the right rear of Brandon Ishkanian's car that spun around.
Yeah, he goes right into the inside wall, has no way of stopping, goes right back up the banking, and collects 2 more cars, unfortunately, and they were innocent bystanders once more. So we are under caution once more. Looks like we'll jump on board Christian Jasper's car here and ride along with him and see his point of view. Now, one of the things, racing side by side with these cars, especially to this quad oval area, is pretty hairy. Talk about it.
Yeah, you're just kind of assuming that the guy on the inside, if you're on the outside, if you're the following car, you're assuming that the guy is going to just hug both apexes on these quad ovals. It's very difficult to run through there side by side if you don't really have an idea of how the guy next to you is going to race it. You just got to try your best to hold your best line on the outside, and you get through it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's and a lot of people don't realize, and we can go back and watch these replays later as the race goes on in the in-car, that you are actually turning your wheel pretty good through there. It's not a constant arc. It's turn the wheel to the left, straighten out a little bit, turn the left to the left a little bit, straighten it back out, and to prepare to work your way into turn one. And when you have a car to your inside, I mean, those elbow areas or the dogleg areas of the quad oval area actually narrows up, or feels like it narrows up quite a bit, and going side by side with someone in through there, either especially if you're on the outside, you run the risk of banging wheels, which looks like we might have had a netcode incident of banging wheels to the inside that Jasper had there, or if you give them too much room, you end up impacting the wall on the exit of the quad oval area there right before you go into one. You smack the wall right there, and you're done with your day.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like either driver did anything egregiously wrong there. It just seemed like one of those miscommunication incidents where maybe I should have given just a touch more room to the car on the inside that was ahead of me, or the guy on the inside saying, hey, I gave it the best I could, and I was hoping that you'd stay a little higher. So it's just one of those racing deals where, especially on these quad ovals, it's just very difficult to fit these wide Indy cars in such a tight space. Another thing I want to mention is we got some pit strategy, it looks like, going on here. It looks like the top 3 have stayed out. And,
yeah, sure have.
We got Alex Ball in 4th place on fresh tires. It looks like Nick DeGroot made 2 stops actually, so not sure what that's about. Maybe just topping off. Maybe they feel like they can make it on a different stop. But if Nick does that, he's going to have a long road ahead of him of trying to pass some cars.
Yeah, he'll want to get by some guys really quickly because the good of these tires wear off very quickly. Even in this case, when we're talking that it's a early evening going into a night race, fresh tires don't last long around here. You're lucky if you could stay on the bottom and really race hard for 10 laps, wouldn't you say, before those tires are really pretty much done and you have to start adjusting your line because you're sliding all over the place.
Well, I just have to think that some of these guys may wonder if the tires are going to last as long as they really want to last, because there's no fuel to play with here. It's going to be all about the tires. So maybe Nick is just going to measure his way around the mid-pack and see how his tire wear is, and just make his moves when he feels like the other competitors' tires around him actually kind of wear off, and then he has an advantage.
Well, we're getting ready to go green. If you're just joining us, this is Race First and NRN's coverage of the ESRA's IndyCar Series coming to you from Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we've completed 17 of 100 laps. We're in our second caution. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe to the NRN channel so you don't miss out on their next race. Down the backstretch, and we'll get into this one more time. We're already kind of checked off these laps pretty quick. We're a tenth of the way, almost 20% of the way through this race. And we will go green on lap 18. You see the field coming down the backstretch. Christopher Hill and Brandon Ishkanian have decided to retire and call it quits. 13 cars remaining on the track. Dylan Thomas is 3 laps down, but he is still getting work on in the pits. And that means we got 12 cars on the lead lap, and 12 cars are going to take this green flag here on lap 18.
Let's hope that these guys all kind of stick together and we make a little bit of exciting racing here for the next part of the stint.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on Alexander Ball there in P4. He is the first driver with fresh tires on, and I would imagine that after about a lap or two, he is going to start making way on these guys. Wagner, Corley, and Jasper, your top 3 not stopped in the turn 2. DeGroot's already up a spot. He's up to 9th already.
Yeah, it looks like Victor Aldrich was the big loser on that restart, and as you can see there, Joshua Tucker just makes a nice move down the middle. He wants to go forward, so he's going to try and grab that draft and bring these cars from the mid-pack towards the front.
Those 3 on older tires. They're not considerably older tires, but they are 15-lap older tires. They're doing a pretty good job at keeping ahead of Ball there with a new set of Firestones. Now let's talk about the dreaded aero push. I mean, is he even with new tires? How much is that impacting the aero push is impacting him?
Yeah, track position on these 1.5 mile ovals means everything. It's gonna make some sort of effect for the first few laps of the run, but as the run goes on, maybe even about lap 10 to 12 or so of the stint, these guys up at the front are going to start to struggle on their tires, and I only gather that because of how Nick DeGroot hit. He wants to have the fresh tires, so even though the track position may be king for the first part of the run, at the end of the run, it might equalize a bit. And these guys that are on the newer tires, although they'll have some dirty air to wear them down, they may actually fall back a touch. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. It's all based on how the setup is built.
Ball has reached Christian Jasper, that time by crashing to Christian Jasper at 24.6. Ball at 24.5, so a tenth quicker on the newer tires.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Jasper has come so close to that turn 4 wall every lap so far. He is flirting with danger, and I'm sure Ball is sitting behind him saying, please just don't whack that wall and put myself in a situation where I have to do some avoidance. So, yeah, it looks like actually the top 3 are starting to stretch a touch.
Yeah.
That might just be the tire cycle kind of going through its cycle there. So, yeah, we see Christian Jasper has a bit of clean air there, so he's able to get behind. Oh, and we have Gary Corley spinning across the quad oval there.
Gary Corley No caution, and I think he just got loose coming off of corner number 4. Yeah, that's too much. I don't want to say classic too much weight jacker, but that was really weird. No, that's not even classic too much weight jacker. I wonder if maybe he had a VR failure or something like that, because it didn't look like the back end of the car kind of escaped on him. It just looked like he started aiming then toward the quad oval, but that moves Jasper now up to P2, and Ball with the new tires up to P3.
I'm watching Joshua Tucker make a big run here on James Watson down the inside. He had that set up perfectly down the turn 1 and 2 complex, just the right amount of draft there to get the run, and successfully moves himself into P4.
Josh Tucker is your points leader, I believe. We'll talk about points here in a little bit as we get this a little bit further into this race. There's James Watson there, and the next car in 5th. He will be joining me here in a couple of hours as we will move NRN coverage to Homestead Roval, the A course. We will be doing the top split of the Indy Pro 2K Championship. He will be joining me in the booth for that, and that will be next here on NRN, immediately following the ESRA race here at Charlotte. Kind of getting into starting to get into kind of predictive groups. Wagner's got himself a 1.5 seconds, about 1.4 second lead over Jasper. Almost has broken the draft envelope. Give him another 10th, and he will pull away that the draft is no longer a thing. Ball 0.6 back from Jasper. Tucker 1.1 behind Ball. Watson right about 0.7 behind Tucker. So everybody kind of and DeGroot getting the pass on Watson going up to P5.
Yeah, it looks like DeGroot's trying the high side now, just like he was doing with Matt Wagner before. He was making all of his moves and all of his runs on the outside, and is essentially trying to scare all of his opponents off that bottom line. And it seems to be working thus far, but as he gets farther and farther up towards the front, it's not going to be easy to get these guys off the line they want to run.
You also be careful running that high line up in turn 4, or you'll run out of room real quick.
Well, I have to say that if anyone can do it, it's Nick, because he's been running the high line all race long, especially when he was going for the lead there. So I'm sure he knows exactly where his inputs are, that he needs to get through the corner just fine, or even try a few times to get very close to the wall and say, hey, I can actually get through the turn at this part of the corner.
A couple of these guys up front run with us in the Lionheart Speedway Series. Matt Wagner, he's a winner there. Nick DeGroot, he's a winner there. James Watson in his rookie season, along with me and you there. So we got a couple of the Lionheart guys in the lineup. But that's the DW12. It's the IR18.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two cars for sure. The DW12 definitely has its own set of fun issues, but these are the more updated cars, and these are the cars that are currently racing on track these days. So it's cool to see that these guys that run the Lionheart Speedway Series can also take these cars out there and run the same sort of ability as the DW12.
A nice thing about getting into the cockpit of one of these is like, I have those adjustment tools to my liking, to my use.
Jose Morales off on the front straightaway. Looks like may have had a spin.
Yeah, he's in that throwback livery of one of Target Chip Ganassi's Target cars.
Looks like it was a very similar Gary Corley type incident where he just got a little loose off turn 4 there. Yeah, the banking definitely has the tendency to throw the right rear of the car off a little bit, where if you have too much steering input in there, it's just going to spit your car right into the grass. So very common incident there, but it looks like Joseph might be okay, but also seems like he's running a little slower.
I think he's trying to feel it out at the moment and see what's going on, and not a good time to be approached by the leaders, but here comes Matt Wagner looking to put Joseph a lap down. Probably sees him kind of having a little bit of difficulty. He needs to hold his line. And he pushes Wagner up into the wall. And I think Wagner's about to give him the chrome horn on that one. And Joseph a little squirrely.
That was a very bizarre approach there. Joseph was definitely a little squirrely through 3 and 4, and Matt was just trying to say, hey, man, where are you going to be down the front straightaway, especially the quad oval?
Yeah, that's one of the things. If you're watching and you're thinking about, hey, I want to try my hand at IndyCar racing, is especially if you start getting to the rear, you're having difficulties. You gotta be predictable to the leaders. You want to stay high, let them pass low. That's probably the best way to go. Sometimes the leaders will get on the radio and actually tell you where they want you to be. But yeah, you got to be predictable. You can't just come off the corner and then hold your line and say, well, that's the line I'm going to run. Now the leader can deal with it. You got to be really predictable and not be weaving and jerking the wheel any. Again, not saying Joseph did anything necessarily wrong. It's a good learning experience for him, but it definitely got Matt Wagner to stand up in the seat.
Well, you know something, Gary? I'm watching now lap after lap. All these cars out of turn 4 are getting very loose. So I'm sure that Joseph is having some sort of issue with his car as he just seems to swing down. Yeah, now he's going down on the apron, so he's going to get off the track. So whatever issue it seems like he had.
And we're under caution.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. He was trying his best to get it off the track, but looks like he misjudged his speed, and there's a little bit of a banking there on the apron as well, which does not help anything. So he was trying his best to get off the track because he knew that he was a little unstable, but I'm sure he wasn't expecting to just completely lose it up onto the track in front of other cars.
Yeah, we'll watch the replay of this. Of course, Ty Richter, as my replay is all of a sudden going completely nuts here. Let's go fast. Let's just bring it back fast forward here to the present. Ty Richter also got really close on that, and he's probably had a bit of a Code Brown moment himself. But I imagine everyone's going to stop, especially the top two, Wagner and Jasper, who haven't stopped yet. And probably a good timing on their part. They probably were looking at another 20 laps or so before they had to stop.
Yeah, what a great time for these guys to stay out to pit. You're getting towards the end of your fuel tank. You're a little nervous about how the race is unfolding and if it's actually going to be a situation where you can get an advantage by staying out from the previous stint.
Couple did stay out to take that advantage. Richter and Destino, they apparently took note. And James Watson, a little cockeyed into his pits, but he's in there. It's going to cost him probably maybe a spot or two on pit road. We'll see. But Richter and Destino probably took note. They are teammates. They probably took note that the guys stayed out that had 15-lap-old tires. They only have 10-lap-old tires over those guys from that previous run when they went green. They took note, and they said they're going to stay out and see if they can get this into the 70s or so before they have to really start looking for pit road.
Yeah, it looks like Christian Jasper had the longest pit road time there. So good for him for at least staying in P4. So definitely a good strategy for him to stay up towards the front. He didn't qualify as well as he probably should have. He's up 7 spots now up in P4. So this is actually a net overall win for him.
And Christian Jasper, one of the admins of the Formula Indy Series, you see here on Tuesdays on Raceverse.
So going back to the discussion I was having before the Joseph Morales caution there, it looks like these cars are actually getting pretty squirrely out of turn 4. I'm not sure if that's a personally inflicted situation where cars are running a little too much weight jacker, just trying their best to get through the early to middle part of the corner. But on the exits, some of these cars, Joshua Tucker in particular, a few times I watched him get extremely loose and save it. There was like 3 laps in a row there where he was completely sideways coming out of turn 4, but he was also trying to set up a run for whoever he was battling with at the time. So he was really trying to push it to make sure he had the best mid-corner to exit speed in order to get forward as best he could.
Yeah, you have a couple pieces of physics that aren't helping much coming off of corner number 4. Of course, you want the weight jacker. You'll be in the positive, so that's adjusting the right rear ride height of these cars. When you go positive on the weight jacker, you're slowly loosening the car up. You go negative, you're slowly tightening the car up in very small increments. If you need to loosen or tighten up the car in larger increments, of course, you got the anti-roll bars, the front or the rear bar that you can adjust. But one of the things that I see a lot here is because we've talked about that when you come off a corner number 4 here, you really run out of room really quick. It's almost like driving into a funnel, and that turn 4 wall comes up on you rather quickly. And I believe that sometimes what happens is while you're also getting that right rear warm, because you're trying to get the car to rotate. Also, there's like a bubble of air that almost develops on the right rear there, that as you get close to the wall, it kind of compresses, and then that helps also kind of push the car around there. It kind of keeps you off the wall, but you also kind of develop a pressure zone there, which can kind of act like a set of hands pushing against the car. And if your car is really loose, that's where you kind of see cars with too much weight jacker get sent around there. There's a couple things of physics that are not helping loose cars through turn 4, and I think we saw possibly some of that with some of those drivers, but they are holding on to it so far. But right now, those old tires are off, fresh tires are on, and we're good for about another 50 laps if we go green. That will bring us into the 90s, and everyone should... Actually, some people might be thinking at this point, maybe some people further on back in the order here might want to think about maybe jumping down and topping off one more time and see if they can't possibly economize their run and get home. It's going to be a long one, though. It might be tough.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if there's a fuel situation looming here. We were talking about 50, 55 laps or so on a full tank, and we're very, very close to the edge of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys in the mid-pack just start saving their fuel in case there's some lap 60, 65 caution that may bring them there.
I'm getting ready to go green. Ty Richter will bring the field down, along with Jeff Destino, his team owner. Green flag in the air. Ty Richter gets a great launch off. Destino a little bit further on back. Wagner with fresh tires will start setting up the pass here down the backstretch, starting to reel him in already.
Yeah, you got Ty Richter on less fuel, so there's no surprise that he just shot off like a rocket there. It doesn't look like Destino had the call of when the leader was going there, because he's definitely in the clutches of Matt Wagner right now. Meanwhile, mid-pack, you got Nick DeGroot doing highline things yet again. Alexander Ball backs off, gives Nick the run through turn 2 there.
Now we are fully under the lights here at Charlotte.
And both Nick and Ball, DeGroot and Ball, they both came super close to that turn 4 wall. These guys are going to be flirting with that wall all night and just hoping for the best. And Nick is going for another move on the outside.
Yeah, getting around Christian Jasper. See if we can't get some views of that turn 4 wall.
Taking the lead from Ty Richter.
Yep. He pulled away rather quickly. Richter was up against the wall. Let's hide the graphic here, and you can see how close they get to the wall.
Nick DeGroot's high on, it looks like, Destino there.
Yep, Destino down low.
Yeah, Nick DeGroot just wants the high line. He doesn't want the low line at all.
Oh, Ty went up to block him.
I think that was more of just Ty's old tires, just pushing him up the track a little bit, and Nick kind of forgot, perhaps, that Ty Richter's on old tires and probably couldn't hold that bottom line. But as you see there, Nick DeGroot takes second place, and he's going to take charge towards Matt Wagner for the lead. Not before Ty Richter tries an under move, but same sort of thing. He's going to push up the track on those old tires.
Yep, makes the move. DeGroot up to P2. Wagner, DeGroot, Richter, Destino, Jasper, your top 5 coming to the halfway point here. ESRA's visit to Charlotte Motor Speedway, round 5. Next week, Indianapolis, and you'll be joined back with the regular NRN crew as they'll bring that action to you. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, Christian Jasper's getting kind of eaten up a little bit here in the mid-pack by Alexander Ball and Joshua Tucker. Great three-way battle here. They've been swapping lines, swapping positions here, trying to find clean air anywhere they can. But Alexander Ball is actually trying the Nick DeGroot high line a little bit here on Jeff Destino. Yeah, so these guys that stay out on the old tires, it's all fun and games when you're out front. But as soon as one or two cars pass you, it's next to impossible. Yeah. It's next to impossible to find any clean air to get advantage. So once you fall to third, fourth, fifth place, it's just going to be a game of falling backwards little by little. So it's a great strategy if you know that you can work to stay out front, especially on low fuel, to kind of pull a little bit of a gap before the draft kicks in. But yeah, Jeff Destino has no chance here. He's going to drop back to the bottom part of the top 10.
Giving Ball plenty of room. Entering turn 3.
We got Joshua Tucker playing mid line there. As you can see, he's right.
Ball got squirrely off of corner number 4 there. He caught it.
Yeah, I mean, Ball gets swirly. Imagine how Destino feels on super old tires trying to hold on to it in turn 4, especially in the dirty air. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on these guys that are dropping back a little bit.
Yeah, everyone's going to the high line. They saw Nick DeGroot work. Whoa! Destino getting loose off of 4. You're right. You called it.
Yeah, it looks like we got a battle for the lead with DeGroot and Wagner as well. Wagner is hugging that inside line. He does not want to give that up whatsoever. But
the old IRL line.
Yeah, for sure. Nick's getting dangerously close to turn 4. I think he misjudged that one for sure on his last run through turn 3 and 4 there.
We'll keep an eye on this camera angle, showing a good angle at entries and exits. Down the backstretch, he's going to get a good run. Going to stay high. Wagner stays in the middle.
You can see Alexander Ball's come up to third place now, giving Ty Richter a ton of dirty air. Both cars get super close to turn 4 wall, but both get through it. Yeah, Ty Richter is going to follow the same sort of path that poor Jeff Destino as well. Just getting fed that dirty air. Joshua Tucker is trying to take advantage. He's going to use Ty Richter's draft and try and pull ahead of Jeff Destino here.
Yeah, if I was now Destino and Richter are teammates, Destino's actually his team owner. I would have told him, get down low, help me out, brother.
Christian Jasper could not have gotten any closer to that turn 4 wall.
He got really squirrely. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him as well.
Got DeGroot and Wagner side by side right now in turn 3. I can't see Matt Wagner giving this up. As I say that, I think DeGroot's going to lead this lap.
Yeah, he does.
And I think Wagner's going to give it to him. I think DeGroot had the perfect line through 3 and 4, but it didn't seem like he could hold on to that middle line. Part of me thinks Wagner just sort of gave a quick breathe of the throttle there and said, you know what, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm going to try and play your game and learn some moves from you so that if I'm in a different situation with a different driver, I'm going to take that advantage and go.
Let's take a look at the, and that brings up a good point because most of these guys are involved in the points championship. Let's bring up the points championship. Joshua Tucker is your leader. He actually has a pretty good lead over Matt Wagner. He's got himself a 33-point lead. James Watson is currently tied with Wagner for second in the standings. Drew White not in tonight's lineup in third. We see Morales, Aldrich, Hill, Jasper, Richter, and Baldwin making up the remainder of the top 10 in the ESRA. Nick,
we have a wreck in turn 1.
Christian Jasper.
I was watching Jeff Destino go through the field. Looks like Christian Jasper kind of missed the entry of the corner there, and kind of basically ran Jeff Destino over. That's my initial view of it, but there might be a little more.
Let's pick it back up. Let's ride along with Christian Jasper at the quad oval area. He just gets a run, and he thought maybe the outside was going to open up, and it didn't, and he kind of runs in the back of Destino. Destino does a good job at keeping it off the wall. He's probably sporting some rear end damage, but Jasper now definitely minus a left plane on his front wing, and maybe some other damage as well. And now we are under caution And now, if anyone stops, this is not going to be an issue. Actually, we're still green flag.
We never went caution.
Yeah, never went caution. So, if we went caution, then fuel would not be an issue now at this point with some people that would stop. So we will see how that unfolds. But that does bring the car count currently running. 8 cars on the lead lap. Destino might be damaged. He's currently in P8. We currently have 11 cars still left in the race with Christian Jasper on pit road.
Let's keep in mind that Ty Richter and Jeff Destino would have needed to pit now anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess he may have Destino may have a little more damage than we think, but it was about time for him to pit anyway. I think he's coming in this lap anyway.
Yeah,
Ty
Destino
Richter
coming in. Yep.
pit lane.
Yeah, Destino is in.
Yeah, I think Jasper is damaged. He's telling people to go below him there. I mean, if you're staying out on damaged wing there, you got to come in. So you're going to lose so much more time if you just stay out.
It looks like he has both planes now. I mean, he did stop on pit. We did see him hit pit road. So he did get the his new wing, but he might have some bubbling on a side pod. Maybe pop some rivets.
Yeah, let's check out. Oh, Destino had a pretty quick stop, surprisingly. He had your normal fuel and tires stop there.
Yeah,
so,
8.4 on the box.
So
not bad.
I'm wondering what damage he might be carrying. He might have some rain light damage or something like that causes him to be just a touch slower down the straightaways. But let's see how it goes.
He is rejoining the field. DeGroot and Wagner back in battle. Let's bring up the ticker. They are back within a tenth of one another. Wagner cooled his jets a little bit and then reeled them back in. Down low this time.
Field's kind of spreading out now a little bit, so we're going to see a lot of drivers kind of maintain their gaps and try and prepare for their final stop if there is one.
Once again,
yeah, I know I mentioned a fuel save before, but it seems like no one's able to save fuel off anyone because everybody's so far apart.
Yeah, they're all in their own little world.
It's going to be a matter of the fuel maps and to see if there may be some late caution that might save the fuel if someone wants to go full bore to try and catch the car ahead of them.
Well, Wagner's about the only one that can benefit from trying to fuel save off anyone. He's the closest car to just about anybody on the racetrack. Everyone else, well, Tucker is actually pretty close to ball. We'll take a look at that battle at the moment. There they are.
So, Gary, are you trying to allude to that Matt's trying to outfox Nick DeGroot here and say, yeah, go ahead of me. I'm just going to sit here and
He might be. I mean, if he can get himself an extra 1 or 2 laps, that's 1 or 2 laps less fuel that needs to go in the tank on the last stop. Quicker stop. In theory.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of subscribe to that myself. I wonder if Matt really didn't want to lead so much because he wants to sit behind someone. But we also are not quite sure what the exact lap count would be for the fuel save anyway. So it's fun to speculate, but we'll have to see what actually unfolds here if we stay green.
Side by side to turns 1 and 2. Once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching Race First coverage of round and Race First and NRN's coverage of round 5 of the ESRA's IndyCar Series, coming to you from Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Nick DeGroot is your leader, currently leading with about 30 laps to go. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the NRN channel so you don't miss out on future NRN broadcasts, and they have lots of them. Join me immediately following this race as me and James Watson will call the action from Homestead for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship official strength of field race tonight. Bit of an NRN doubleheader.
Yeah, I'm watching guys like Joseph Morales and Jason Hand coming out of the pits right now on fresh tires, right in the mix of this top 5. It seems like they won't get involved too much, but yeah, it looks like Alexander Ball's holding on to a solid 3rd place here. Joshua Tucker is running better lines than him, but Ball is still managing that gap there, and I don't know if Joshua Tucker is going to be able to make any sort of move or not to get into that podium position.
Well, at this point, with about 25 to go, if I'm Josh Tucker, and he's already the championship leader, I am thinking preserving as many championship points as possible at this point.
Yeah, you got Jeff Testino and Joseph Morales behind them, which both have just recently come out of the pits, so they're trying to use their fresh tires to whatever advantage they possibly can. I think Nick DeGroot's going to be pitting this lap, so the fuel save is out the window.
Yep, and so it has been for Wagner. Wagner went in the lap previous. Oh, Nick!
Oh, just
Nick.
A little loose.
Tokyo drifting there, coming off the banking, slowing down to get the pit road. There's the cone. He's down to the very slow 45 miles per hour here at a track where the cars are traveling in excess of 200. I wish iRacing would allow us variable pit road speed changes for setting up these races. It's not very fair for these Indy cars. And here he comes down to his stall, hits the marks perfectly, doesn't slide through, up on the jacks. New set of Firestones, topping off the tank with just enough. You don't need to fill it up. You need just enough to get these last handful of laps down, and he's down and away. And we'll see where he pops out. Currently now the leader is our points leader, Joshua Tucker.
Yeah, we got Alexander Ball as pitting as well. It looks like Wagner and DeGroot are going to come outside near each other again.
They are, yeah.
Nick DeGroot's very slow to get up to speed for some reason. He's growing quickly out of draft range, Matt Wagner, right now. I wonder if Nick had another bobble coming out of the pit lane, because that is a very large gap that Matt has grown over Nick there. Joshua Tucker pits very close to the outside retaining wall there by the pit entry cone, but he gets it slowed down, so he's going to be in for service now.
That turns the lead over to Victor Aldrich, one of the third of the Destino Motorsports cars. He's 38 laps into his current stint. Doesn't look like he's stopping at least this lap. James Watson, Team Watson Racing. He is in P2. Each of these guys now, if there goes a caution right now, this does not bode well for everybody else. They are now down a lap.
Yeah, I would sense that there's very little chance of a caution based on how spread out everybody is. Even the guys that are in quote-unquote close battles, they're on different tire strategies, so they'll sort themselves out pretty fast. But yeah, we got Victor Aldrich leading now. I'm sure he's going to be pitting within about 4 to 6 laps or so.
20 to go, 21, excuse me, now 19 to go. 81 of 100. We are now fully into the nighttime. As I like to say, nighttime is the right time for IndyCar racing. These cars look so great under the lights. Back when they used methanol as their fuel, they would have blue flames coming out of them. You could only see that at night, though. Yeah, actually, I was on hand for the very first IRL race here in '97. I got tickets for that race and went down to it.
What month of the year was that?
I think it was July, the middle of the season, and
nice and hot.
Yeah, nice and hot. It was a night race, but I think they had a 80,000, almost 100,000 people show up. It was like the third most viewed in terms of attended race at the racetrack the IRL had that season between Indianapolis and Texas. So it was a pretty good. I remember the crowd was pretty good that year.
Yeah, the only battle I see on track really is not so much a battle at all. It's we got another car
comes
here.
Aldrich.
Yep.
That will turn the lead over now to James Watson. How far can Watson go with the economy run? He's 44 laps into his stint. So he could go at least another 6 laps or so. Getting loose off of turn 2, almost close to that wall. You see him twitch the wheel a little bit going down the backstretch.
Yeah.
Oh, he's coming down off the banking. He's coming down off the banking, so he is going to pit here.
That's going to be the leader of the race. So now all these guys that were lapped down breathe a sigh of relief. I think that Victor Aldrich pitting situation kind of brought Matt Wagner and Nick DeGroot a lot closer, because another situation where Matt had a little bit of confusion of where the lead car was going to go there. So.
Yeah, and that has allowed Nick. He is right there.
Goes for it in turn 1. That didn't look like Matt didn't know it was coming, so very close there on the back straightaway as well.
We got a bit of a shootout brewing here for the remaining 15 laps of this race.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nick is done playing games now, and as I say that, he's opening up the bottom. You know, if I know Nick DeGroot, I know Nick DeGroot, and he likes to hug the bottom line. So if he's done playing around, he's done playing around. But looks like he's not done playing around yet. So they swap the lead again. Here comes Nick in turn 3. They're swap drafting for 3rd place, which is about 7 seconds behind.
Yeah, so, Joshua Tucker is now in 3rd. Yeah, very reminiscent of the battle I witnessed when I came to the IndyCar race here. The very first race, a big battle between Billy Boat at the time and Buddy Lazier. Weaving down the backstretch, trying to find the right line. Stay in that draft, break the draft.
Matt Wagner is hurting his tires here, running the high line alongside Nick DeGroot, just trying to turn so much wheel into it that right front's not going to be happy.
He backs him up a little bit. A little bit of lagging, I think, on Wagner's part. Saw his car kind of floating there, and then we also saw some fake sparks off the wall when he just disappears there. Now he's back.
Yep.
So that is not helping things, I'm sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say lap 90 is Nick DeGroot's "I'm done playing with you" game. So Matt's gonna have to get a little more creative now to try and find a way by. Yep, Matt had to lift there, so Nick is taking the high line. Matt really should try a low line. I'm not really sure why he's just kind of riding. Yeah, okay, so he goes a little bit lower there. He's got to try and find some sort of shorter way around the track, or if Nick does that, then he can play with the high line. Yeah, as you see there, he tries to find the clean air, but he spent way too many laps there just burning his right front in Nick's dirty air. So
yeah, and we're seeing it on lap times as well. DeGroot last time died 24.635. Wagner a 24.749. So a tenth slower, and he's struggling. You can see we're riding on board right now on the over the head of Wagner as he enters turn 3.
We got some lap traffic ahead though. We got Jeff Destino. We got Joseph Morales, we got James Watson, so this will be interesting as these leaders come up to lap traffic.
Yeah, with 9 to go, now 8 to go. DeGroot, a little way up high. I think he's trying to stay in that clean air versus the car in front of him. The car is staying low. He's trying to keep that clean air on both the planes of his front wing.
Yeah, Matt Wagner's tires are gone. He can't take any line right now at full speed. He watches up the track on both sides of the circuit there, especially in the middle. Yeah, he may have burned that right front completely off.
And now he's approaching that, I believe that is Destino. And yeah, he had to roll out of it big time there in corner number 4. So that allows DeGroot to escape to about an 8/10. And the car, the car is just not turning. He had to grab another gear in turns 1 and 2. Car is not turning.
He had a weird looseness entering turn 1, which I found kind of strange. So he's running some really, really interesting in-car tools now, I would imagine.
He's got the run on the outside over Destino. He's going to get the position. Destino goes ahead and concedes. That's not a battle for position. That's just a battle for position on the racetrack. 5 to go. DeGroot, your leader. Wagner P2, Tucker P3, Richter P4, Aldrich P5. Oh, Destino getting loose off of 4. He grabs the painted asphalt area, which is the painted red area, which is the Rovals chicane. If that was grass, he would have been spun out for sure. Good work on his part.
Tried his best to hold something there.
Yeah, good work on his part to keep it straight.
Yeah, I think Matt Wagner can't make any progress at all with these lap cars, especially if they're running both lanes of the track. It's just dirty air city for him. So if you also remember that both of these guys pitted later than Wagner, so he's fighting a car that has bad right front tire, along with guys that have better tires altogether than him.
Right.
So I think Nick DeGroot's going to cruise to a victory here.
3 miles to go. Nick DeGroot in clean air all by himself, heading down the backstretch. A lap and a half to go. Watson and Morales are in between his lapped cars to this battle between DeGroot and Watson. DeGroot coming to the white flag. A mile and a half to go here at Charlotte. Very workmanlike effort for Nick DeGroot. Very typical. Nick DeGroot shows up if he's not at the front. He's had an issue, of course. And here he comes off of corner number 4, securing the win here at Charlotte in the ESRA. Nick DeGroot with the win tonight. Matt Wagner coming home second. Joshua Tucker coming home third. A good points day for the points leader. Ty Reckner coming home fourth, and Victor Aldrich coming home fifth. A good day for the Destino Motorsports boys, finishing 4th and 5th.
Yeah, that was a very interesting finish for sure. I had no idea who was going to really come out ahead there, because it seemed like the two leaders, Nick and Matt, were both kind of playing games with each other. So I was interested to see how it turned out, and yeah, Joshua Tucker managed to get himself a nice 3rd place finish there. After being kind of mid-pack for a bit.
Let's take a look at tonight's final classification standings. Very small field, but it was pretty action-packed, especially with those leaders. Here you go. Your winner, Nick DeGroot, Matt Wagner, P2, Joshua Tucker, the points leader in P3. That is your podium. Ty Richter, Victor Aldrich, rounding out your top 5. Alexander Ball, very steady run into the top 10. P6 there. Jason Hand 7th. James Watson 8th. Destino brings it home 9th. And Christian Jasper, despite his troubles, brings it home 10th. Your top 15 is Morales, Corley, Thomas Hill, and Ishkanian. And that is really it. I don't think Colin took the... so we're all... The podium's all touching tips here at the start-finish line. Colin Johnson, of course, is doing race control. He's one of the admins. All right, let's see if anyone is in the interview room, and we can bring them up real quick. We know that you are tight on time. And we will make sure that we can try to get these interviews in. But if you have to bounce, that is fine. Understood. Because it is getting late. See if anyone else is in the interview room waiting. Nope. They're all busy doing burnouts here. So, if we still got you, Andrew, what did you think of tonight's race?
Yeah, that was pretty interesting for sure. Sorry, I stepped away for a second there.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yep. So, yeah, I found that the whole ordeal interesting. And if I get a chance to talk to Nick before I leave, I'm curious to ask him about his strategy there on the first pit stop, that he came down not once but twice. Just very kind of strange that he put himself in a situation on a track where the right front just burns off so fast. Why he decided to do that, but it paid off for him. I don't know if the cautions fell at a certain time for him to get up front, but he finds himself with the win.
All right, we'll see if anyone does show up. If not, we will go ahead and wrap up tonight's coverage here. Let's see if anyone does or not. Right now, we would be bringing up Josh Tucker if he was available. We'll give everybody just a couple more minutes here. While we're waiting, let's take a look. There is Nick DeGroot. He is in the race lobby, so we will go ahead and bring him on up to talk about his race.
There we go.
Yeah, bring him on up. Hey, Nick, congratulations. You are in the booth with Andrew Wood and Gary Gatto. Tonight's race, I know Andrew has a specific question for you on one of your pit stops, but you and Wagner kind of dueled it out there at the end. At the end, though, it looks like you got the clean air and the better tires and were able to pull away.
Yeah, I don't know if that one lap fresher tires really helped me too much, but I just was ripping the high side quite well. And when it was just me and him battling, it was a pretty even fight. But once we got to those lap cars and I was able to run that way high line, I think that was really the game changer. Allowed me to get through him quicker and easier and kind of get away from him while he had to deal with him in his own way. And yeah, but otherwise that was a really good battle, really good race. And I was a little worried there at the end when he jumped me with the undercut. I was like, oh man, am I gonna be able to get this back? But yeah, it all worked out.
Andrew, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my question actually stems from the pit stop you did at that first caution there. It might have been the second caution, but you came in and you put yourself in a spot where you were P8-9, and then not only that, you hit a second time on the second caution lap. So I was a bit confused as to what your strategy there was. Can you tell us a little bit about what you felt like your move from there was, putting yourself back in traffic?
Yeah, I was confident I was going to be able to get through them, and I just wanted to top it off with fuel. I know it wasn't much, but I lost a race in the Velocity League a couple weeks ago, running out of fuel 100 feet from the lights. So
at Indianapolis,
at Indianapolis, yeah. I just want to top it off, make sure. And I was in fuel map 5 there, put it down to 3 when I was trying to get around some people that were struggling, and just hoping it went green because I knew we were in the catbird seat. But of course it didn't, and then we had to get it the hard way.
Yeah, it seemed like you were really brainstorming and scratching the surface of what you can actually do on a full tank there. So I found that very interesting, especially when half the field stayed out on what seemed like not even a half tank run. So it was kind of cool to see how you played that out from there. And like you had mentioned during your speech there, that you were just so comfortable on the high side, and I pointed that out many times during the broadcast.
Yeah, and I love running races like this because I don't have to worry about points. There's not a championship to worry about, so I can really take more risks and be more at ease and honestly learn a few things. I learn a lot doing one-off races like this and leagues like the ESRA, and it really helps, I think, in the other leagues where I'm going for championships. So it's always good to get here, get more seat time, as they say.
Every little bit helps. Trust me, I know. Before we let you go and celebrate your win later, as you go off to later tonight to go celebrate your win, actually, any shout-outs, anything you got as sponsors, family, friends, loved ones? You got it. Go ahead and make them.
Yeah, just want to thank everybody. Factory Back Motorsports, motorsport.com, ColemanMoore.com, Canvas Shoes, Cowboy Shed, DeGroot Automobile U-Haul and Detailing, everybody else who supports us. And thank you all for watching. It was great to be here. Can't wait to be at Indy in a couple weeks, I believe.
All right, well, there you have it. Nick DeGroot, your winner tonight in a not a full schedule, but kind of a one-off effort. But it sounds like he'll be back later to give Indy a shot, maybe looking for another win this season in the ESRA. Congratulations and have a good night.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right, and I think that's going to wrap it up here because no one else is kind of stepping up into the interview room. But yeah, it was a great time, and it was just a pleasure to have you in the booth, man. I got to watch myself. I got someone gunning for my seat. Andrew Wood is now becoming a broadcaster.
Yeah, who knew? I never would have pictured this a few months ago. But hey, I like talking racing. I'm a racing guy, and to have the experience in these cars is just very special, and I kind of can sense what things are going on and what people are feeling. So yeah, it's definitely pretty cool to just kind of take a step back. Like of course I want to be on the track and racing, but this is definitely kind of a different side of the fun.
I kind of think of this as the next best thing. If I can't be in a car, I'd rather be up here calling the action, talking to another fellow IndyCar fan as we talk tech and history and specs and all that good stuff that makes IndyCar so special. So that's it for tonight. We at Race First would like to thank everyone at NRN for choosing and trusting us with the wheel this week. For everyone watching at home, if you like what you saw here, be sure to hop on over to youtube.com/racefirst and give our channel a subscribe as well. We really would appreciate it. We want to see everyone again here on NRN and the ESRA here in 3 weeks at Chicago when we have a bit of a meme race at the Chicago Street Course. I will be joined by 2022 Season 3 Indy Fix Series champion Mark Murphy on the call. So mark your calendars. You won't want to miss it. Once again, your podium from Charlotte is Nick DeGroot with the win, Matt Wagner P2, and Joshua Tucker with a great points lead, securing his points lead for another week as P3. Chris and the regular NRN crew will be back again next week for round 6 of the ESRA IndyCar Series Fall 2022 season as the series moves to the racing capital of the world, my hometown, Indianapolis, and the Indy Road Course. As always, be sure to check YouTube for the correct broadcast time in your area at youtube.com/National Racing Network. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support Race First and NRN with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support NRN by smashing like in the video. It's just that easy, and they would definitely appreciate it. If you are new here, make sure to click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of NRN's other iRacing programming, and they have lots of it. You won't want to miss it. Subscribe and hit that bell. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter, or at least me and Race First. Here's all of our Twitter handles at the bottom of their screen, along with my boy Stevie for the Monday Night Indy Fixed, and Justin Petschauer also joins us there for that broadcast. You can find all of our profiles there and add us on Twitter. So for Andrew Wood, everyone at NRN and Race First, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch the series again right here on NRN next week in Indy for the next race of the ESRA IndyCar Series. Good night.